Alright, so first I want to start by saying Kalalal Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Washem Rakakodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of James Strip Stone. Salutation to you, walking out there, pushing the truth and sincerity to the elect. Shalom, this is Brother Cannon from James Jamaica here, a quick lesson. And today, the odd topic out there is basically that interview that Obama did, which it was an odd topic before, but Obama being Obama, a lot of person's gonna um, I like this, So the U.S. government been coming out and basically confessing that there are objects out there that they are not sure what these objects are, and the purpose of these objects. They call them UFO or another name that they have out there. I don't remember what's gonna mention it. I think. All right, but so we're here to basically shed the light. We've been shedding the light for quite some time, but a lot of people will not listen to the prophets of the Heavenly Father. So here you're gonna have your own so-called leaders giving you insight and telling you that they're not going to be able to tell you a lot of things because they're doing their studies and they're seeing these things. There's a pilot. I'm not gonna play that video, but there's a video on 60 Minutes with a pilot telling you that they see these things every day, and that's a confession to even the scriptures, because the Bible tells that the eyes of the Lord go to and fro throughout the earth, beholding the iniquity, the good and the evil. And also the eyes of the Lord is upon the righteous. So they are here every day, and we have seen these craft. We call them the chariots of Israel because that's what they are. In the story of Elijah and Elisha, you can check out that in I think I said Second Kings. All right, so this information is out there, and this is just proving the Bible to be real more and more. Now Obama is going to jokingly make a few statements about it, but then he's going to get serious and be real, because yes, there's image out there, and if he was to play it off like back then, it look stupid because you have pilots are coming out and speaking. So obviously he had to, even though he's joking, he had to give a serious take on it. But they're still trying to say that they don't know what they are. Well, let's get into the video. All right.
Interesting moment yesterday. President Obama asked on late night television about UFOs. Let's take a listen to what he said.
When it comes to aliens, there's some things I just can't tell you on air. But what is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are. We can't explain how they moved, their trajectory. They did not have an easily explainable pattern. And so, I think that people still take seriously trying to investigate and figure out what that is.
That was one of the most tortured ways of saying we have no idea what that is.
Classic Obama.
Which at least is the truth. He wouldn't even say it whenever he was in the office. There's a continued quote
Right,
here.
you would not say when he's in the office, because they're not going to speak on these things in certain position because they're puppets. And even after coming out of office, he's still not going to give you a full understanding of what he has about the situation. But we are here, the prophets of the Heavenly Father, that's GMS mainly, and others that are speaking in the same spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. We are here to tell you what these things are. And it's just for the elect to hear, because a lot of persons are going to be stupid and naive about the situation nonetheless. So who cares? Alright, so, and he said the truth is when he came into office, some part of it was joking, and then the other part, he's being serious. There's footage, and we can check the internet, there's footage, American footage, military footage. So this is no made up shit. Alright, excuse my French, but this is no made up thing. Alright, so we're gonna, because again, these objects are not just out there by themselves. And we're gonna get into that. Again, there's a lot of scriptures out there telling you that they call it the clouds of heaven, the chariots of Israel, pillar of fire by night, pillar of cloud by day. There's so many names in the Bible that are used to refer to these craft, but overall they are the chariots of Israel, and they are here to defend you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So when people talking about, oh, we need divine intervention, these are the divine intervention that will come in from Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to come and rescue us. And person take that as a stupidity. And I mean, I had some friend back then when I was just coming the truth. They were laughing. Yo, my youth, you believe in an alien there, bro? No, we don't believe in. Matter of fact, the word alien just means stranger. We don't believe in what you have as a big head, big eye creature, whatever you have in your movies. All right. But there are angels out there. The Bible give a description of these angels, and they've been here on many occasions. Again, the Bible give a description of that. And I mean, and the same person that was behaving like that. One night we were in a park and it was really dark, and I mean in the countryside, so you can see the stars clearly. And I was showing them one of the objects, and they were amused by it till they actually start believing in what I was saying. So they don't believe fully in or they don't walk the path that we're walking, but they've seen it for themselves, so they cannot deny it. Right? And many persons out there are seeing these things, and persons are acting as if they are being silly because they've seen it. The military see it. They are taking records. Obama, the president, one of the most powerful men that was on earth according to you people, you know what I mean, is confessing that there's footage of this. So are you not going to believe and try to know what are these? Because clearly, again, they are not flying by themselves. All right, so we did a lot of talking. Let's get into some scriptures. I know, of course, one or two, but what the scriptures I'm really going into would be Ezekiel 1. And then the reason why, because, you know what I mean, that the persons are referring to chariots. Yes, but guess what? Without highlighting the fact that there are spirits in these chariots, angels. You know what I mean? There are angels in these chariots. So persons are okay. You are seeing the images and the footage. They don't know what they are. They're doing things that are not easily explained, as Obama said. We're gonna get into some of these. So we're gonna start from Ezekiel 1 and verse 12. And try and make this real quick, so bear me. And when they went, everyone straight forward, where the spirit was to go, they went. So wherever the spirit is leading them, these chariots, they went, and they turned not when they went. All right, they're just going where they were going. And again, the chariots don't need to turn either, because they are, as you can see on the image and before the video start playing, these chariots basically. They are basically a wheel. They can travel on all sides, up, down, in different dimension or trajectory, different ways. You know what I mean? As for the likeness of the living creatures inside of them, all right, angels, the appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lambs. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning. All right, and the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. That's how fast they move. That is, if you are seeing that, that is not explainable. Like Obama said, if you see something in one spot and then it moves to the next spot and come back in the next spot, like in the speed of lightning, or flash, or like what your people call flash garden, you're gonna be amused because nothing is supposed to move so fast, and there's no man on earth able to move so fast. So what is these? Of course, these are gonna draw your attention, but again, they're not gonna try to put when eventually they're gonna try to put something to it, so they're gonna put it as a threat. Yes, it's gonna be a threat, but they're gonna try to put it like some alien invasion, like how the movies put it, the Independent Days and those other movies. And I mean, oh, this great threat to mankind, this great threat to this wicked kingdom. That's what it is. The Most High is gonna destroy this setup and set up a new setup, which is gonna be ruled by the Israelites. That's you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, predominantly. And your leader for the is gonna be Yahushai, King David coming down. That's Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, King Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Yahweh and Yahushai, King David, the apostles coming down. That's the order and the rank. And I'm 144,000 elect men. That's the order coming down, yo. Let's continue. Now as I beheld the living creatures, now as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creature with his four faces. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl. And you can look that up. You can do some research for yourself and look what color is that. And they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Alright?
This quote, when I came into office,
Alright,
I
so we're
asked,
gonna
right,
pause
I was
there.
like, all right, is there a lab somewhere where we're keeping alien specimens in the spaceship? And you know, they did a little bit of research, and the answer is no. And then he launches into the answer.
Okay, now find out when the video was starting at the end. Begin, let's go back. See if I can play that.
Interesting.
Okay, not getting alright. You saw it in the beginning. That chariot out there, a wheel within a wheel. You know what I mean? Or what they call flying saucer. Alright, let's continue. It says, let's continue. And the appearance was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. When they went upon their four sides. They can travel any direction. And they turned not when they went. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them. 4. And the living creature and the living creatures went. The wheels went by. Sorry, let's pause there. Sorry about that. All right. So it says they had eyes full round about them. Those are the lights that are around the chariots. We're gonna show you an image of it also. All right, but bear me. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them, and when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was the spirit to go, let me just read it again. Bear with me. Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. And when those went, these went, and when those stood, these stood, and when they rose, and when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheel, and that's the what I'm trying to bring out here. Don't forget that the angels are flying these machines or craft, which we want to call it. So you're seeing the image, but not you persons. You haven't seen the angels per se, then, right? But we're telling you that angels of the Lord are in these chariots. And again, this is also proving that the Bible is real and God is real also, which if you ever believe that you're being an idiot or stupid from the get-go. Let's read another scripture real quick, you know what I mean? Alright, this is Zechariah 5 and verse 1. It says, Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. Right? That's what they call flying saucer. Alright, let's drop this down some more, so we can get back to the 114. Bear with me. Alright, so we can play some more. We're gonna pause right here. Flying roll, right? Alright, let's go right here. Let's start there.
He was in office. There's a continued quote here. He says, quote, when I came into office, I asked, right, I was like, all right, is there a lab somewhere where we're keeping alien specimens in the spaceship? And, you know, they did a little bit of research, and the answer is no. And then he launches into the answer.
Yeah, I think he's joking in that part, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, there's a lot of conversation to be had about whether presidents can even be told a lot of this stuff. President Clinton famously, I think he was asked on stage in 2005, and he's like, I'm embarrassed to say I tried to find out, and I couldn't. And because John Podesta, his chief of staff, is a huge UFO guy, and actually wrote a foreword to Leslie Kean's book on UFOs, and he also admits that while he was in office, I mean, the second most powerful person in the United States government, he was unable to attain a lot of the information that we have around this. So I do think, though, it is very interesting that Obama's comments, especially remember Obama was president during many of the encounters, or at least whenever a lot of it was being studied in the program which eventually came to light in 2017 under the Trump administration. So if anything, he would be privy at the very least to some of the footage that we see here. Same thing where Tyler Cowen recently asked John Brennan, who was the CIA director, and he said the same thing. Under Obama, he was like, yeah, there are unexplained phenomena, and we have footage of that. And I think, again, one of the important pieces of the discussion is people are always trying to say, like, they're drones, these are foreign drones. There's a big piece, I think it's in the War Drive or whatever, saying that these are Chinese or Russian or some sort of either enemy or unknown terrestrial technology. Whenever people say unexplained, or whenever people talk about, and I think Lou Elizondo said this in a CBS special, we're talking about something that's going like 13,000 miles per hour, which defies all, like, the laws of, of physics and of...
Something like this. Let's go back to Ezekiel. Something like define the laws of physics, moving like flash. That's what it says. But you're not going to believe the Bible, right? Huh.
Known human flight. There's no drone on Earth capable of doing something like that.
Right.
And the mystifying nature to which Obama, I mean, this is one of the most confident people in the world. He's like, dumbstruck about how exactly to talk about it. I think does tell you that if this was foreign technology that they were trying to cover up, they would just be handling it very differently.
That's very true. And yeah, I mean, look, obviously the military investigated all of those obvious, like, oh, is it a shadow on the radar? Is it drone? Is it a weather balloon or whatever? Like, clearly they ruled out those possibilities to get to. We just don't really know. For me, what's significant about this is it just shows how mainstream this conversation has become in a very short period
Because of 60 Minutes. Because of 60 Minutes.
Because of 60 Minutes.
Because of
The
60
big
Minutes.
revelation
Listen,
in
60
that
Minutes.
was that one of the pilots said he saw these things every day.
I know.
I mean, he's like...
Every day. People are seeing these things every day. The US government is seeing these things and they cannot explain it. For years they've been seeing these things for every day. The Lord is showing himself strong. So you think that they're not seeing these things every day, and we speaking about these things as the Israelites, and they're having us as so-called terrorists on their radar, and here we talking about these things, and you think that they're not taking us serious? You're being stupid. Alright?
This is a regular occurrence. We saw these things every day. I don't happen to know whether that was during the time period that Obama was president, but it very easily...
Probably second half of the Bush administration, but yeah.
Yeah, so this was things that were on the record already within government circles at that time. And so, but the fact of the matter is, this is probably the first question he's ever gotten on
He
this
was asked by
topic.
Colbert once, and he was like, I can't tell you that. Yeah, that was it.
That's it.
I mean,
the late night comedians are the only ones who apparently
Yes.
asked a question about what's going on here.
instead of laughing around with Joe Biden, we should ask him about UFOs, because I'd love to know what he had to say. Trump, I thought if he
Alright,
would
let's
ever
pause it here
person-
because there's going to be rubbish. Alright, so you get the drift. Let's just read this real quick. Alright? Let me just get to that image. You can see, let's keep it right there. Let's look at that image up there. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. I think we can get to it. Alright, let's see here. Let's read. Alright, so you think that these people just get up and design these images because they're just creative in their mind and all of that. Okay? Alright, this is Zechariah 5 and verse 1. Then I turned and lift up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then he said unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on his side, on this side according to it. And everyone that sweareth shall be cut off on that side according to it. Alright, so, and the Most High is going to bring this to the house of the thief. Let's continue. I will bring it forth, said the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, the so-called white man. Right, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof, and stones thereof. So it's going to be burnt, Zechariah 6 and verse 1. And I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, there came 4 chariots out of between two mountains, and the mountains were mountains of brass. Alright, and remember the eyes around the ring, wheel in a wheel. You see that? That's it, yo. You know what I mean? Look at, there's countless amount of images, yo. That persons have designed or created with whatever technology they have. You know what I mean? But what? These are just things that they're put into life so persons can have an image of it. Alright, so let's not continue any further. Let me just say this very quickly, sorry, before we go. And I mean, these chariots gonna come in great number as the standing strong for the nation of Israel to defend us in the time to come, because they're gonna try to wipe us out. Alright, and in that time period, we're gonna have World War III, our Jacob trouble, and the elect of Israel will be beamed up. You see that bright light shining down. We're gonna be lifted up, just like the movie Knowing. Yes, there's movie out there because they understand these things. So we're gonna be lifted up off the earth. I say, come up either. We're gonna ascend into a cloud, or just like Yahushua went up into a cloud. We're gonna go up in the air. We're gonna be over the ozone layer, looking down on America being burned by thermonuclear destruction. Yes, all of that is in the Bible. And then we're gonna come back down, you know what I mean, and gather all to be gathered up, you know what I mean, and set whatever need to be set in order, you know. And yeah, there's gonna be a war. The Bible tell you about it. All right, so that's why these military is worried, because they have no technology to match these things, which the Bible said they are going to be afraid but just fight, because they have no other choice but to fight, and they're going to try to get the people behind them, because they have to provide some form of false narrative for people to accept that we're going to fight against an alien invasion, so to speak. So let me just wrap it up there. You can research some more into the situation and see if the Heavenly Father is working with you if you're an Israelite, and that you can catch it. You can gather this information. And for those who are not an Israelite, be fearful, because we are coming, you know. We just want to say, Kala Lal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash, the honors of the apostles, and let's have James Stone and Tiakim out there. Shalom.